National Chairman of the National Patriotic Party, Anthony George S. Mulbah. We are a team of reporters here from Spoon TV and Front Page Africa. Anthony Mulbah, I'd like to say welcome to this end of the year interview.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And again, I want to say thank you for all that you did during the entire year. And today we are canvassing this program for the year 2025.
So let's start off with this interview. Personally, how has been your health? Because your health issue was one of the things that made us not to continue on this podcast.
Yeah, actually, I must tell God thank you. Since I came from India, my condition, my health improved significantly, and it was just like we had a little breaking when my wife too experienced the same thing. She got sick, so I made her spend 4 days in the hospital. At least, as I speak now, things are much better than, especially me. I can walk. I work with my family. Yesterday, all over, no breathing, and everything was okay with me. So I would say yes, my health has improved significantly.
Looking back at the past year, how would you assess the overall state of governance in Liberia, and what do you see as the administration's biggest success and biggest failure?
Oh yes, there have been significant success in some areas because we have to take into consideration that while other parts of the world people are currently living in fear, insecurity, and the freedom of expression have been issues. Here in Liberia, we enjoy significant peace. Uh, Security condition in our country very improved, and especially so at night in our very community, you have constant electricity, and those are significant progress that we think have been made in the fight against drugs. The fight against drugs have been very, very much. I want to laud President Bwaka and his team uh, for the fight against drugs, and let it be clear that anyone going beyond this administration, you come back to power in this country and make drug as a secondary source of funding. Liberian people will not take it lightly because most of our children that were being misled and seem crazy, you can see that people are being rehabilitated, and the fight against drug is very much important.
What specific policy or actions inform your assessment of the administration's performance so far?
I mean, in the area of drugs.
Yeah.
Oh yes, first, you see the logistic to fight this. The logistic to fight this. The men that have destroyed the country were very unassuming. You saw the government procure a lot of vehicles to ensure that DA agents were able to be spotted in all corners. You saw that significant numbers of our women who was the covert transporter of drugs are being arrested day by day. Even Morovia, when you stop, you can clearly observe that those days where you should stand, you see our disadvantaged youth, where you have this, most of them will come in a car. You can no longer see them frequent as it was. Of course, the number, I don't think that drug is completely eliminated, but the consumption of drugs in the country has seriously reduced as a result of the war declared by the government against drug trafficking in our country.
So, as an opposition leader, what key issues did the National Patriotic Party prioritize during the year under review?
What the party as a whole, we have worked with. We've been having a little problem with the National Elections Commission, so we spend much of our time, and we think it coming to a finality, especially so the Supreme Court resume normal hearing, because there's an appeal by the Election Commission before the court. So that's impeded our entire operation this year. But as a party, we stood firm as an opposition party to ensure that the freedom of expression is remain untouchable. We ensure that the government that the government uphold the rule of law. You agree with me that some of the performance of the government, especially upholding the rule of law, have been a problem. There have been significant steps taken to undermine the rule of law. One, the government was able to government through the Unity Party went to court after blatantly ignoring the code of conduct, where the Secretary General, who is the co-secretary to the Unity Party account, is the managing director for a public corporation. Within that, he is undermine the rule of law. We also observe that the removing or the removal of quote unquote 10 officials from office by the government, that was a clear undermining of the rule of law. This the NPP are not been taking the light. Okay, and as it is, given the fact that this government removed people who was legally appointed a job, a tenure that was being conferred by the act of the legislature through a statute to remove those people from offices without a judicial decision. We think that was a clear flagrant violation of the law of this country, and the government is condemnable for that. And we think that history will not take it lightly with the government for setting a bad precedent, because when previous governments, the Unity Party left from power, the CDC inherited some official government, and based on a tenure position, and the Unity CDC attempted to remove them, some of them, like the guy from Lottery. The Supreme Court was clear in coming down with opinion on that matter, and those people were able to be what they were reinstated. In some instances, their contract was paid for. Okay, so that is the last thing that this government have been involved with. And I also observe that President Buckeye, we look at the formation, the economy is moving. Okay, things are improving, but the fact remains that this is the government centralized here within the Unity Party. The issue of inclusion was never the case. This government won, it was slim margin. We thought that the president was taking steps to reduce the tension in the country by being consultative with other opposition political parties to see how.
Isn't that happening?
No. In fact, what happened is that in some instances, what happened in the CDC regime, in some instances, is repeating itself. In the CDC, the president, our crew, the speaker from Southeast, the deputy speaker from Southeast, minister of finance from Southeast, all of the guys from Southeast at the time. Here, you have significant number of the government out from Lofa. Namely, the minister of finance, Lofa, the minister of youth and sport, Lofa, the minister of LRA, Lofa, LTA, Lofa. The list goes on. This is a very small country. In order to have a reconciled country, you must practice inclusiveness. When you do inclusiveness based on geographical location, you see all of the noise in the country. Oh, it is not like the government are performing, but when you draw your government just from among your supporters, the other people, the rest of the country see themselves as people that have then you lay the line of demarcation, then people begin to fight. That was happening. I can tell you clearly.
Do you think it could hurt the Unity Party in 2029?
If the president does not have some consideration on this matter and call for a reconciliation conference and begin to talk to people in the opposition and avoid this attitude, you talk tire. And I'm warning you talk tire. Especially the political returning, job returning, when they come, they will come with
who are you talking to?
Job returning are those that recruited from America. They brought them and put them in offices. When something happened, they don't grab the reality of time, because they don't go beyond Monrovia. Right after holiday, they get on plane to go back to their family. So these kind of people, they talk loosely in the system. When things get chakla here, they got second home. They don't care. Everything the president will have to transcend about it. He's doing his best for all pattern of reasoning. He's doing his best to ensure that those major infrastructural requirements addressing the country, such as road, you see bridges are built all over. You see there are massive movement of development initiative, but the tendency of youth try to not being very, very, very much consulted with considering opinion of the opposition is a problem, and being somehow even the very local. If you look at the number of people there, the banning people got more position than any trial there.
Do you still do you still see a divided country? Because
I see a divided country.
You talk about reconciliation. Do you still see a divided Liberia?
I see a very significant divided Liberia. It is okay. Look, let's look at Ghana right here. Let's look at Ghana. When there are national issues, everybody will stay on one side of the case. You will notice that when President Bouaga is anywhere, the other people will not go there. I mean, so it this comes to suggest that tomorrow, if this government were to be defeated, up will come on board, Liberia will continue to be divided. We have to work together. This is our home. Nothing we can do to the Liberian people are the only one who get position. If the government were taking significant steps to see reconciliation, and somebody say, "Oh, because I lost my job, I can't," then we would say, "Yes, you can't hold the government responsible, because if you intend to exercise divisive institutional divisive policy, nobody's going to support you. But the government is supporting them, and for those who, especially the public relations officer of the government, they think insult is an instrument to silence the opposition. That had to come to an end.
Okay, many Liberians continue to express concerns about accountability and corruption. In your view, has there been any meaningful progress in the fight against corruption this year for 2024?
I refuse to say that the government, there's no corruption. There's corruption, but there have been serious steps taken to deter that. The fact that President Bouaga will appoint an official, and if you go contrary, or if the issue of accountability come to question, dismiss you, that is a substantial step taken towards the fight against corruption. The fact that those who were one way or another responsible based on express audit report, some of them are in court. That is a fight against corruption. We have to hear the government for that. And as it is, nobody had a guarantee, unless the past government, where if you had the president is your friend, you there for 6 years. No, here as it is, you mess up today, the woman will fire you from there, and that has to be. That's why the Constitution gave the president open hand. It says, "You shall serve at the will and pleasure of the president." Meaning, when you're there, you have to uphold the rule of law. You have to uphold your oath of office. You violate it, you're gone. That's what he's doing, and we think that in such a situation, he's doing his best in that.
To the economy now, it remains a major concern for the ordinary citizen. How would you rate the government's economic management over the past year?
Actually,
and what alternative solution does the NPP also propose?
Well, the first thing here, because there are people who interpret the economic situation from their own perspective. Meaning, when you're not able to buy food for your children, until the government think very hard for the government brought actually on me. Individuals, you cannot shift the individual responsibility on the government. Okay. Now, the fact that beggarage were around 350, 3,500 or 3,700 in some area, or some
so 2,000.
But now it is now 2,005. That is a substantial step taken to improve the economy. The fact that gasoline were being sold for, I think, $900, some area 1,000, 1,005. Today you can buy gas for $690. We think that's a substantial step taken. But what has been the problem here is that the circular flow of the economy has been among few people. Government is a major employer. So you disadvantage people because of partisanship and move them from a position, especially a position of civil servant position. So those who and you in a government you see uh, from mother, father up to grandchildren are all employed in government. Why other people? Why the bulk of the people don't have that option? Because why? It is based on a government based on a reform based on relationship. That one of the reasons that contribute to this. Because,
A
take for
lot, a
example,
lot have said, I mean, they don't have access to the cash in the country. You know, what do you think is responsible when people talk about the country is hard? They've said repeatedly.
purchasing power is low because certain group, almost a segment of the population, they don't have access to employment. While a specific group of people are now considered the privileged class. So whether you're doing good, you're doing bad, one enough for among a group of people, definitely people will continue to the country hard. Okay. Number two, I disagree with anyone who thinks that we should try to institutionalize the random distribution of cash to buy political influence as means of saying that will stabilize the economy. No. When we say the economy has improved, we must have a situation where a job is created, people go to work and able to buy and able to earn money from from services rendered both in the public and private sector and pay for goods and services. When that is happening, it's improved the economy. But not a group of people who will always think you go sit in a Thai center and wait for mobile money and no longer coming, then that means the economy has refused to submit
So
to that.
that's not the way forward.
That's not the way forward.
To improve the economy.
That's not the way forward. What to improve the economy, you must be able to create jobs for people to be employed. Okay? And government must spend within the limit of the budget. The limit of the budget. Okay? When people will you will allocate maybe 20 million for a specific agency. Then you see the budget outturn is on 25 million. You understand? And those cash are spent based on unallotted project, simply because you want to promote or buy political influence. That is not the way to address the economy. So one of the best way the government was moving the economy was when they had this funding that was being given to people to make swamp rice and so forth. That helped to the rice. It helped to subsidize the demand of rice on the market. Okay, look, I tell you clearly, there are some people working in a country, some Liberian citizens working here in this country say, "Oh, government will protect us," but they don't. Before a month, and they have not paid once a tax to the country because what they are doing nothing, and they are willing not to do anything, and we have to revert to the policy of self-reliance. It doesn't mean when no government job, you cannot do anything to get money. Take for example, I hear so in the morning I go on the farm, I be on my border, we work. At the end of the day, we got small little product from the farm. We sell it, we sell it ourselves. So people, government will not employ. While we agree that the economy is hard, we ourselves, Liberians, the laissez-faire attitude are contributing to the overall failures of the economy moving forward.
The last time we spoke, you slammed the finance minister for not doing well to stabilize the economy. What would be your recommendation heading into 2020?
Yeah, you see, let's take for example, I spoke with when they announced this 1.2 billion, I personally took off time to meet with the control, let's say the commissioner general, and he said to me, we can raise, even if 5% of the budget allocated we can able to raise 2 billion. You understand? Now, the current finance minister, he want to micromanage the budget. Let's say micromanage the fiscal space. From my inside intelligence, when he's not there, the budget will not move. When he's not there, the financial decision, the Ministry of Finance is structured in such a way that one man cannot make all of the decisions. That is one of the problems. That is one of the problems. And he, those areas that used to have cash into the private sector are not priority for him. Let's take, for example, in the rubber sector, the government used to have what you call uh, uh, a similar fund for the rubber sector. Those money will go, people who got farm, they will receive that money and pay a period of time through sale of the respective product to the various concessionaires. They pay. But in the case of the Minister of Finance, that is not a priority. Okay, so when you do that, you stagnate the economy. Okay, because take for example, the rubber sector account for almost 30 to 40% of our employment sector. So those who own farm, and when they are giving chance, when the government has to strengthen them, you'll notice that there will be the issue of employment will be reduced significantly. But in the case of the current Ministry of Finance Authority, it's not important. So those are the reasons that causing all of this noise you see in the street, people complaining the area of loan is no longer available to market to business people, and government getting loans to make sure that the circular flow in the economy move on well. Because if the loan get into the hand of a businesswoman or businessman, he will then open a shop. In a shop, livelihood of more than 50 or 70 people will be addressed through that. But this is not necessary. This is not important to the finance minister.
I mean, Liberia's international partnership are actually evolving. How do you assess the government's foreign policy direction, and what would the NPP do differently?
Well, you know, unless our time in power as a NPP government, we had a challenge at the time, and if we had to come back to power, we tend to have aggressive engagement internationally to make sure that Liberia, the Liberia diplomatic relationship remain improved with the world power as it is. But let me say this with respect to what the start of the current government international standing. I think there have been significant improvement. Okay, especially so more than 50 years for Liberia to sit. Maybe maybe the first time for Liberia to sit on the Security Council. That was a significant progress made. Okay, that was a significant progress made, and as it is, you see, most of the government, Liberia is respecting the international in the Committee of Nations, and we think the government has made significant progress in terms of our international standing.
Let's come to Bond County. How would you assess the current state of development in Bond County compared to your time in the office, or looking at this current leadership? The superintendent or Nodia Norris.
They have not reached to a level where we reach. Okay, we inherited Bond County at the time. They had dusty road on the Broad Street. Am I correct? Today, the Broad Street is paved. We inherited Bond County at the time that right after high school, you either go Cardinal or you go to Monrovia for university study, and we provided that during our time. Okay, and there are massive improvement that we made, including some of the current members of the legislature who are still there. That we all work together to bring the county to where it is today. Okay, for the much of the time during the last 6 years, much of the time was spent on confusion to the extent where the county social development fund was in place in Expo. Look, I tell you clearly, our time when we were in authority in this county, if we were those who are so greedy to own property, we would have accepted maybe the $1 million lobbying they were doing to avoid social development fund coming here. We accepted it, but we said clearly that the provision of social development fund will have a positive impact on the county, and that is working very well. So, please point out which of the after we exit from office, look at one of the major projects. I mean, that they want to take a manage the spoke company, manage the BCT, manage the payment
the fencing of the administration of building.
And fencing is a minor project. Now anybody you can lay hold they can decide who fence around it. So that's not in the renovation of the superintendent company. Yes, we appreciate the current administration for that initiative. And I say also here, I'm going to repeat myself. The presidential palace is an extension of the president's residence. Money allocated for the presidential palace so come from there's something under the Minister of State called Presidential Special Project. When we were here, the administrative building was destroyed. Let's say the presidential palace was destroyed more than that. But we didn't go to the county social development fund to get money for the repair it. But some of the things are projects that people want to initiate to create jobs for that company. You know, some of the companies that have been created here will some large extent with major shareholder in government. You know, so we think.
Are you sensing some are going to be able to share in construction?
And what I do know is that to most of the project here and most of the new company that are favoring of owning or we having luxury of obtaining contract from the county, most of the companies are either influence or share. Let's say that share being held by the official of the county, being a legislator or administrative officer.
The president has spoken about Bond County. You know, the last time he spoke about building an academy, a football academy in Bond, and he said the funding would directly come from MNG Go Liberia, and the government is on the back of MNG Go to do that. And they also talk about the National Conference Center that will be built here. I mean, what's your take on those different development stuff? You know, coming from the executive.
I say, I don't know why the president chose to think about football academy right after the exit of the footballing president. President Boga had never. I don't think he even played in elementary school. To sit and decide that you're going to play a football academy, something that was being done by President Weah, who is celebrated around the world as who is celebrated in Africa. We think that is a serious challenge. It's a serious challenge. Everyone should watch that, because if this woman go ahead and build a football academy, and when he background in football after the exit of the football president, that clearly speaks to the fact that football was not a priority on George Weah. That will speak to that, and we are hoping that this. I'm hoping. I don't pray that this particular project kind of fruition, because the kind of fruition, the Univer will run people. It had a serious interpretation. Okay, but again, to build a football academy, it help address the concern of the young people. Because Liberia, as the only black country in Africa, to have reached to the level of winning the Ballon d'Or, we have not been able to go to the World Cup. Is a serious concern now. Now, if the woman choose on himself to build a football academy where young people will train, and thus being the capacity of our youth and football community that will prepare to go to the World Cup. If he does that and that happens, the history of George Weah in terms of football achievement will be erased.
Why MNG Go is being asked to help in this direction? Because they said the academy construction will be fully funded by MNG Go Liberia that is operating in Kokoya.
The MNG Go has a social and corporate responsibility towards the environment that you work in. So if the government say, "Look, we don't want, we will suspend some of our taxes and make sure you do this work. Definitely, you have to do it.
Honorable, we have 3 years to 2029. How do you see the fate of the government now? Do you think the president might seek re-election? If yes, how do you see his chances?
Well, I see, because during the last program, Article Homecoming, right? Most of the banners out there, working for 2029. Working for 2029. So that is a clear indication, and there have been no objection from him. So the likelihood is that
No, but he said he's not thinking about 2029. The last time I heard him, he said he's not. He's
he
focused
said he focused on the development. He did not rule up. He did not rule us. I will not run 2029. You understand? And there are many people. Madam Sally came and said, "You only here for one thing." When he loses so much of that, even President, we are right after the election. He said he retired from politics. Am I wrong? But later on, given the event of time, his supporters said, "Look, you gotta run." So I'm convinced and strongly believe that President Walker may run 2029. Of course,
if he runs,
if
how
he
do you
run,
see his chances?
he will now. If he run, then of course he is now. We now going towards the Paul Biya situation. Paul Biya is 92, and when President Walker run, and he win, eventually, he will be around somewhere 91 years. Okay, will he want to do that? That's a question. That's the question. But again, like people say, money can make people strong. Oh my God, when he myself very close, so I used to visit him. The strength I see him pull out now, it didn't make him drive for him. The saw either seen there and come and go drive for him. The saw come by the next day. You cannot doubt his strength now.
How you see his chances?
Well, it is too soon to underestimate him. It is too soon.
3 years now we're going.
No, we are gone 2 years.
Yeah,
We'll be
but
into the 4.
yeah, we soon be.
So you cannot underestimate his strength, because why? The government will say, "Look, let me close my eye on all of the cry, quote unquote, border and bread issue. Let me focus my attention on the major priority like road. Let me look at the education sector, and this is the very first time for us to have our budget a projection to go to 1.2 billion. So if the government actualize this budget and focus on those projects, you cannot rule anything out. Of course, the possibility exists.
Let me just stop you there. Someone has responded to you regarding the football academy. He said George Weah was focusing on the bread and butter issue and not football. GMB needs to create jobs for the youth and not football. GMB needs to strengthen the agricultural sector and not all football. He's responding to your statement that if the president builds a football academy, then he could erase George Weah's football legacy.
I maintain that President Weah being a footballer and led the country for 6 years, we did not have the time to even go to African Cup of Nations. We did not have the time to go to have a football academy. If this woman go out and build a football academy and build a football academy and Liberia manage to go to the World Cup, it will be a serious challenge to George Weah football legacy. Take it from me here today. Okay?
Okay, so let's come to your own political. There are a lot of indications that people have already started to doubt that you could contest in 2029 as a representative.
Well,
the speculations are already there.
We don't rule any speculation out, but we're in a country where the Pharaoh change every day. Okay, I serve here as representative successfully for 12 years, and I will speak. I'm running my service to the community by way of my legal practice every day in court. So it doesn't. If the people want me to run, and I see really that the need is there. Of course, they can have some level of leadership deficit in terms of working to unify the country. They had unity, a leader that will unify the country. They kind of have a deficit in that direction.
The country is still divided.
The country
After the Kentucky reconciliation.
How long? When have you seen a well organized committee here? Like we should be, you used to be around here. We all try to bang out. We sit in one house. We will have our differences, but we'll close our eyes and make a decision that will benefit all of our people. And of course, politics is not about politics. It's not really about the it's not a church house where you think everybody will be united in opinion, but there must be a common point of conversion.
What do you think is responsible for this?
Huh?
The caucus not going for meeting like before. Go and sit on the round table, discuss issues together. That will benefit the county. What do you think is the problem?
I think from my own experience out there, I believe that personality conflict is one of those reasons. Okay, somebody did it yesterday. It's my time to do it. Like before then, like I said in one of my interviews just quite recently, the issue of past those who committed infraction in the past, like Cole. Here, Cole was like everything here. Everything he said during the President Weah time in the county was so the same mentality emulated by Mr. Senator Moy. Okay, so he too want to stretch that same muscle. I can run in the past here. Mr. Stiller and our coach said, for us, for all, with all. In fact, this is the only country in the history of Liberia that the township had green letter. Remove people from the township level straight. Remove all the commissioners, township.
Under this regime.
Under President Weah regime.
Okay.
So the same thing is what being practiced here. Professional civil servants are removed for political loyalists. In fact, just a few weeks ago, there was a group of guys demonstrating in the street here. Oh yeah, a group of United Party guys demonstrating. Why they allow people to get jobs? They allow people to get contract people who are not members of our party. To hell, man. When you win an election, the contract not for you alone. It's not for you alone. It's for everybody. That group of people are here demonstrating. Is this the Liberia we envisage? That Liberia will be deprived based on their political alignment? I'm saying no. Kongwe, Sama. So that demonstration at the time seriously exposed the government the leadership belief in discrimination based on political alignment. All I was here. They saw the placard. They should employ people here, should get contact people who are not United Party person. Yeah. So we think we should transcend about that.
In 2020, you were one of the front runners for Moy's Senate bid in 2020. Now, not much is being seen from you. Moy seems to be he could seek a re-election, but you are just sitting at the back and acting like you don't know you have an obligation again.
Why you always on the program? You always bring a question.
Oh, but yeah, now
2020. You said 2020, right?
Yeah. Or and
you're talking about 2029. Two different periods.
Yeah, you had a dream.
I had a dream, and I had a dream. I had a dream at the time that Senator Moy could be elected as senator of the county. Is that what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And indeed, I did it. The people of the county bought the idea. He was elected, and he's in that capacity. Okay, until I can have a dream dream for the ancestor to speak to me. This is the way. I cannot predict the future.
If you were to participate in any election, where will you go? Representative? Will you contest as senator, president, or what?
Look, I'm qualified to be president. I'm qualified to be vice president. I'm qualified to be senator. I'm qualified to be representative. And I'm qualified to be a minister. So, like I said to you when he earlier asked me, we we are looking at the playing field, the political playing field. And a lot of people come here to me, oh, want you to run, want you to contest. But again, you have to look at this is my 30 years in politics. My first job in politics was when I appointed as superintendent for this county in 1995. By then, I was somewhere around, I was 30 years old. I am 29 years, I was going to 30 at the time. Okay? So, I have vast experience. So, I know how to predict uh, 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 people mind, especially those who intend to scheme, those who are talking reality. So we have to. There will be additional seat created. Okay, there will be additional seat created, and those additional seats will. If we intend to contest, I can. If people have been talking to me, if I make my mind, I can choose. I said, I want to run as representative. I want to run as senator. But as it is now, I now settle my mind as to whether I will contest this position or not the position or not to contest.
So lastly, the incumbent representatives are nearing their third year in office. If you were to grade them on your own preference from district 1 to 7, who do you think do the year, or who you think has really performed since he or she got elected?
What I've not been following them closely, but I intend to first look at the budgetary allocation because your performance will be determined by what you brought to your people. You understand? The budget is a national cake. This is what I said a few days ago. That people must hold their representative accountable to tell them what is in the budget for them. What did they do? Because there are some representatives, they are just visited the Capitol building, backbenchers. They sit there, the budget is passed, few of the coincident to the houses in the night and make allocation with all their input. But yet they come and stand here and say, I'm your representative. The national can nothing. When you are elected, you are not elected to take money from your pocket to go buy Mulbah and share in the community. You are not elected to buy a children baby to pay school fee. You are elected to ensure that the benefit of the constituent from which you come from is reflected in the national budget. So if I'm to create any lawmaker, because at the moment I not look at the budget, I would like to see the budget and who carry what to the district determine your performance. Okay, but as it is, I can't rarely come to say, oh, the other person that perform when what will happen when I say, oh, the mayor perform, simply because I see you maybe gathering a few women together, divine labbas with them, maybe divine beggar, right? That is not a yardstick to measure the performance of a lawmaker. The yardstick to measure the performance is your ability to ensure that you pass the law. So let ask ourselves, send this city of the legislature, which of the lawmakers in the country has sponsored a bill? Which of them? Not it is said yet to be known, because your cardinal responsibility is what to ensure that statutes are passed to benefit your people, and it's not just to go attend session. It's not just to go attend sessions. If you're the army when you're in the hall, what the law you made, I have more than 1 or 2 or 3 to tell you. You understand? Like the new labor, I was the very first person when I came in the legislature, where the draconian provision of the labor law, section 1508, subsection 3, I repealed it. I knew when I came from a labor background, I knew what it was like for our people. Yeah. And I ensured that we were able to champion the cause of passing I to establish what we have here today. You understand? So I would be interested for me to create a lawmaker. We may know the law you are passing the legislature with the bill you are sponsored. We will know first your impact in the national budget. So those issues, when I know those issues, I can tell you clearly. Maybe during our next conversation in January next year, I'll tell you who performed. Because I'll go to the capital building and let me look at the budget and go through and see what all allocated to places. And let me also see. I can speak with the chief clerk. They'll tell me, oh, the bill will pass the year 2025. And also look at 2024, the year 20. Let me see which bill did you pass there. If you pass a bill, then of course we'll say, yeah, it means I'm not interested in you buying maybe 20 motorcycles you can divide all the time in villages. That's not what they're supposed to send you there for. They're saying you there to make law that will have impact on their life. Impact on their life. Now I told people that if you think that I can be lawmaker again and think that my role will be to go buy rank and divide it, you don't have to call me there. But my role will be to ensure that we pass a law that will give our people perpetual benefit. Okay, like I had a draft bill on the floor, which was to have a regional maternity center built in Bond County. That bill was in committee room on the chair on committee on health. He must have had a very serious argument on it, and before the close of our session, one Johnny Chair was the chair on today. Johnny Chair must have not friendly on that. In some areas, they bring even our informal lawmaker thing, they bring something and step on it. I told him that you deprive my people of that opportunity. So to answer your question, I cannot create any lawmaker in the absence of knowing your impact on the budget, knowing your the bill that you sponsor.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.